Hey, 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 business owners, business owners. It's Thursday. Doing Thursday things, as my ranger buddy Todd says. So there we go. It says we're live now. So hopefully we're live. Um, Today's going to be fun if you're a business owner. It's going to be eye-opening, especially in today's day of AI. And excuse the mess behind me. There's stuff, chairs in the office here because they're redoing. Got this new condo and the lanai or patio, whatever you guys call it, depending on where you are in the world. We call them lanais here in Florida, is being redone, and top to bottom, ceiling and floor, and I had to clear all the patio furniture off of there, so it's all over the house. Anyways, so that's what's going on. Why I have chairs behind me and stuff, if you can see those. Anyways, so so welcome everyone. Let's see if I can. I closed my Facebook screen. There we go. So no comments yet. So as people come on, you'll get to watch this and learn. Okay. So if you're a business owner or a business coach, you'll get a lot from this today. Hopefully. So I want to tell you a story about a business owner who spent 18 months following an AI generated growth strategy and stayed exactly where he started. 18 months. Okay. And what happened in the 90 days after one specific question changed the whole conversation for him. Okay. So he came to me with a printed AI business plan, 30 pages. Okay. So he printed it out, right? So he could see it and because it's hard when it's on AI, right? You got to scroll down, down, down. So he did it in pages and organized it all beautiful, right? Growth strategies, marketing recommendations, operational improvement suggestions, a product expansion roadmap, like to add more products and scale, right? All logical, okay? Don't get me wrong. AI is great if you know what to ask it. Okay, it doesn't think for itself. Okay, it was all well organized, right? It was, he didn't staple or anything, but it was all very organized and laid out. Okay, all built on what businesses like his generally do to grow, right? So that was pulled from all the knowledge in the world. It's public. By the way, not all knowledge out there is public. If you do have intellectual knowledge on the internet, you can select to have it blocked from AI, so AI can't pull from it. So if you have a course or program out there, AI might be trying to dive into it if it's not secure on your website or blocked. So if you are a creator, you can go and select for your information on these different AI platforms to not be pulled. All right, so very vital if you have intellectual property. So none of this right information had found the $231,000 in profit that was quietly draining from his margins every year because nobody had asked him one specific question about his specific numbers. Now, I've been coaching business owners for over 26 years. If you didn't know this, I started as one of the founding coaches for a gentleman named Tony Robbins. Most people know who Tony Robbins is now. And why I say that is because my brother and I had a car dealership in New Hampshire. I've owned a tree service here in Naples, Florida, weight loss studio here in Naples, Florida. And then I became a coach for Tony Robbins. And then I also, with working with Tony, I was blessed to be able to immediately coach people from all walks of life, including business owners. And some of them were just, starting out. Others were, doing well, maybe, just under $1 million. I helped them get to 2, 3, 4, 5 million. And Fortune 100 CEOs. Sun Microsystems, I coached other CEOs and stuff like that. So I got the blessing to help those types of people. So I learned a lot. And this is the conversation I keep having now as AI business tools become, more sophisticated and more widely used, right? People are even creating like AI agencies and stuff, right? And they're targeting business owners, obviously, because that's where all the money's at, right? So the tools are genuinely impressive at generating strategy in the abstract, okay? They're not capable of the specific diagnosis, keyword, that changes a specific business. I emphasize diagnosis is the first step as a coach. What you do with your clients, diagnose. You need to diagnose what's going on, just like a doctor, right? You need to diagnose before you do anything, okay? So I want to tell you about Greg. All right, Greg owns an auto repair shop. 16 years in business, deeply loyal customer base, right? Does great work. Was doing about 1.65 million in annual revenue. So let me say that again. He was doing 1.65 million in annual revenue, and he was taking home $88,000 a year. Okay, so Greg had an AI business plan, 2 AI business strategy subscriptions, right? He was paying for these AI business strategy tools. Okay, he had been implementing pieces of that plan for 18 months. His revenue had not increased or changed materially, right? His personal income hadn't changed. Now, when Greg came to me, he said, Curtis, I have a plan. I have tools. I know what to do. Okay. Okay. Well, let's look at your results there, Greg, right? Well, I've been working the plan. I just don't understand. Like, tell me why it's not working. Like, why the numbers are not moving. So I said, Greg, let me ask you something that probably is not in your AI plan. When did you last raise your labor rate? He said, 2021, maybe 2000, early 2022, maybe. I said, I asked what his material costs, his labor costs, and insurance had done since 2021-22. Okay, he knew. He knew they had all gone up significantly, right? So we calculated his effective gross margin right there at the table, okay? It had dropped from 41% to 27%, okay? Whew. On $1.65 million in revenue. That was $231,000 per year in lost profit. $231,000 a year in lost profit. How much is that? At least 3 times what he's making now. Okay? Quietly draining through a gap that no AI tool on the planet can identify or had identified, right? Because no AI tool had asked this specific question with this specific numbers. It doesn't think. It does what you tell it to do, what you ask it to do. So if you don't know what to ask it, you don't know these things, it's not going to give you the answer. It can't. So then I asked about his service advisors. This is another big one, okay? I've probably done this in other trainings for other industries before, but what percentage of customers were being offered preventative maintenance, offers, items at the completion of each service? Like, hey, we got this fixed, and offering, one of the protection plans, right? Preventative maintenance. And it doesn't have to be pitchy sales or anything like that. That's another training, okay? He said sometimes, if they remember. Okay. Right? So the AI plan had recommended to him to add 2 new service categories to increase revenue. Those all involve cost, people. Okay. So the specific diagnosis that I did with him revealed he was leaving $6,200 a month on the service counter alone because his advisors had They had no structured way to offer it. Like they didn't know the language to use to make it just a natural thing that these customers needed, right? So a $231,000 margin problem and a $74,000 annual upsell problem, both completely invisible to 18 months of AI strategy and tools and following what AI is telling you. Because no AI had asked the specific questions. Again, it doesn't think, okay, for, the way you need it to think, okay? So, well, it doesn't think. It's not human, right? It does what you tell it to do. So 2 afternoons of work with Greg, okay? Price adjustment communication and service advisor training. No new service categories were added. No social media campaign was launched, right? Again, most of the strategies I do with my clients don't require them spending an additional penny on marketing or advertising. There's money sitting in your business. You just don't know how to get it, okay, where it is, what's going on. So here's what Greg wrote to me 18 months later. Let's pull this up. Okay, so he said, Curtis, I spent 18 months following an AI plan that told me what businesses generally do to grow. In 8 months of working with you, this almost makes me cry again, okay? I went from $88,000 in income to, this is why I do what I do, people. This is why I do what I do. People are suffering and they need help. That's why I'm a coach, the only reason, okay? He said, I went from $88,000 to $162,000 in personal income. Now, he's been trying to get there for a long, long time, okay? Now, the AI never once asked me, that's what he wrote, it never asked me when I had last raised my prices, right? Like I asked them. It never asked what percentage of my customers were being offered maintenance items. It gave me a growth plan built on what auto repair shops in general should do. You gave me a repair plan built on what my specific shop was actually doing wrong. That sentence right there, people, is the key. You gave me a repair plan built on what my specific shop or business, right, was actually doing wrong. AI can't figure that out, okay? That's the entire difference, all right? So, so here's why, a specific diagnostic of, diagnose, right, of a specific business cannot be replaced by AI strategy tools, okay? Diagnosis requires looking at actual numbers and asking specific questions, okay? Greg's AI plan recommended annual price reviews in general terms. The specific diagnosis required pulling his actual labor rate, calculating his actual current margin, comparing it to his margin when rates were last set, and multiplying the margin gap by his actual annual revenue. AI can describe that process that I just explained, okay? It cannot execute it on your specific data without you knowing which questions to ask it. And most business owners don't know those are the questions. Get it? This is why coaching is not going away. I just watched this video, man. I want to contact this guy and rip his head off. He's trying, there's a lot of liars out there, or people that are just misinformed. They think they're right, but they're not. More than ever, people need coaches. Coaching is irreplaceable. The human being helping another human being is irreplaceable if you're skilled, okay? Now, part of what he said was right, because Most people calling themselves coaches are not coaches. They've been led to believe, oh, you've been coaching people your whole life. Bullshit. Bullshit. You weren't trained on how to help people break through mindset blocks and change habits and fears and doubts and all these different things that coaches should know how to do. What he's talking about are people calling themselves coaches that are really internet marketers selling courses and products and information. That is true. That is going away because now AI can just give you information for free. So people are buying information, right? They've been buying these courses and programs that are just all information on how to do something and not really based on actual results, okay? And a lot of these courses and programs, they're not coaching the people. They say they are, but they're not, okay? I know because I've done them, I've bought them, I've built some of them in the early days. And they're just selling information, they're guiding people through the information. And they think they're helping people on these, group coaching calls or even one-on-one coaching calls, but they're not skilled. They haven't been trained on how to actually help someone that is stuck and that is struggling. Okay, so anyways, enough on that. We'll get off that tangent, okay? So diagnosing a business, right? Diagnosis, it requires recognizing patterns. That's real coaching, recognizing patterns across real businesses. So when I asked Greg about his service advisor offer rate, I was asking because I've seen the specific gap in dozens of service-based businesses, and I even owned one with my brother, right? A car dealership specifically. And we had a auto body department. We had all these different departments, okay? So I understand it. That pattern recognition is not available in general strategy frameworks, okay? It's available from someone who has lived inside of it, okay? Experience. Diagnosing requires asking the questions you don't know to ask, okay? So Greg knew his revenue was not growing. He did not know to calculate his margin gap. He did not know to track his offer rate. And Greg's the one using the AI tools, right? So he didn't know these things. It's not his fault, right? It's not the AI's fault. It's just doing what Greg asked it to do, right? So, there's the missing link. The question or I should say the questions, right, that produce the most important answers in a business audit are almost always the questions the owner would never think to ask themselves. Go figure. Okay. Now, an AI tool answers the questions you ask it. It does its job, right? Cool. I use it for certain things, but I know what questions to ask it. I even have software and an AI platform built within that is trained on the knowledge and strategies that I use. Okay. It's not ChatGPT or Claude or any of those. This is trained specifically on all these questions and strategies. And it's only available to my clients and my coaches, okay? But a human expert asks the questions you didn't know were the right questions to ask. And they need to be asked in a certain order, right? So there's the whole thing behind that. So Greg's 30-page AI plan wasn't wrong. It was general. General advice for a general business in Greg's general category. His specific business needed a specific diagnosis. And specific diagnoses is what human experience with lived, or should I say human expertise with lived experience provides. All right, so if you have a plan, AI generated or you created it yourself, that's not producing the specific revenue changes you're after or putting the profit that you want in your pocket, I want to help you find your specific diagnosis, okay? So comment profit, and my team will send you the registration link to my upcoming workshop on how to double the profit in your business without spending $1 in marketing or advertising. It's built from specific diagnosis of specific businesses over 26 years, not from what businesses generally do. Okay? So, call right now. I'm going to jump off. All right, guys. So, or comment double, and I'll send you a link to my book, Double Your Profit. Oh, sorry. No, double's going to be for if you want to book a Double Your Profit strategy session with me. Comment or comment or DM me double. And then book, we'll use book for if you want a copy of my book, which is the Profit Blueprint. All right. Greg's complete diagnosis strategy or framework is inside that book. Okay. So you want a free copy, digital version, comment or DM me book. All right. So comment profit, double, or book right now. Greg had a plan for 18 months. In 8 months of specific diagnosis and repair, he almost doubled his personal income. Your specific numbers are waiting to be found. I hope this was helpful, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. We'll see you soon.